Now, Ron, it's been fun learning about everybody's teachers. So initially we got Wesley Easter, Mike Compton, basically most. Luke, you were talking before about a lot of it came from your dad. He was a piano player, but from him, and then Steve Lewis, who taught so many people, great guitar player, right? Is that pretty much for you?
I took 3 lessons from Steve Lewis, one of the best guitar players, banjo players, and then I just tried to figure it, him and Dad helped me along the way, just try to figure it out from there.
So he's a banjo player and guitar player, but he taught you mandolin lessons.
He can play the mandolin real good too.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing around here. They're very different instruments. They're tuned, a mandolin and a banjo are tuned totally different. A mandolin and a violin or fiddle are tuned exactly the same. So often fiddlers will play mandolin and vice versa. The only difference is they have the double string instead of the 1 string, and they have frets. And they play with their fingers and pick. Anyway, so who was your teacher?
Well, most of these young whippersnappers probably don't remember. Bill Monroe taught me how to play. No, I'm joking. I'm just joking. I guess when I was about 11, there was a multi-talented instrumentalist around Mount Airy. His name was Billy Rippey. He was a banjo player, guitar player, telly player, steel guitar player, drummer, anything that needed to be played, he could do it. And he got me to reading tablature at the time, and I think that's how most people learn to play an instrument, because typically your bluegrass musicians don't read. We don't read sheet music, maybe like a pianist would. We don't hardly read at all.
Spencer says we don't read, period.
That's right, we don't read. And I know that because when Spencer and I were in prison together, he never read, he always played the mandolin, so.
Right, we barely even talked.
Yeah, we never made eye contact. No, Billy Rippey probably got me started for about 6 months, and then it was a different time. I think when I came along, you didn't have Skype, you didn't have that, you had a phonograph or a record player, and you would go buy a record of your favorite artists, such as Sam Bush or Bobby Osborne or Bill Monroe, and you would pick that arm up and down, and you would keep listening over and over until you mechanically had that thing memorized, and then you would try to reproduce it or emulate it. So that's kind of how I learned, and then just being around other musicians, but pretty much kind of self-taught.
And then it's interesting to talk about, I see that, people try to memorize licks, right? But really, a very hard thing to describe is improvisation, what that is, right? That's kind of a difficult concept, because you all obviously are right in the moment. You don't have time really you didn't even know what song you're gonna do first, so it's not like you thought to yourself, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna play this thing, I'm gonna do that. It just happens in the moment. Ron, can you describe that mental process at all?
Well, I wished I could. Most people who have approached me over the years about, hey, I'd like to take mandolin lessons, and usually I tell them, I'm not a teacher, I just play. And it's hard to, they look at you like you're crazy, and you just don't have the patience to sit down with me, which I do particularly try to do that if I can help, but anymore there's so many resources, it's amazing. I meet guys that have been playing 2 and 3 years, and I hate to tell them I've been playing 30, and they're like, yeah, I used to play like you back when I was a year into it. But really improv, once you learn how to play, it's a feel thing, and you will learn by playing with other musicians, and you will keep pushing yourself to play with better musicians until you get to the point to where you don't even think about it. It just happens. You play. And a lot of people can't grasp that concept, but that is kind of, I think these guys would tell you, that's kind of how it happens. Yeah. You don't really sit down and think about, I'm going to play this particular set of notes and this run and this and that. You just play or try to play the melody of the song.
This is the university out here. If you come out to Galax, this is better than any. This is the Ivy League out there. It's the big time. And that's how people just play together. And are you drawing though? Sometimes you guys though, you have licks that you that you like and know, and right, say, I'm going to pull that one out, right? I see some nodding there from Luke and stuff.
I have 3.
I got 2.
There's 3 of them. And he's only played 2 of the 3 so far tonight.
Yeah, the third one's coming. It's
saving that for later.
Yeah.
All right, well, you know what? We are running out of time. So, isn't that sad? But they'll just pick outside or in the rain or somewhere like that. So, Ron, why don't you take us out with one?
All right, I'll see if I can pick
You guys
one
can
up.
go. We have a little time, so why don't you go around twice?
Okay, I think this will be one that we can all play. It's a infamous guitar song, Salt Creek.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we'll all know that.
I may twin somebody on that.
Spencer Strickland. Yo, thank you so much here. Mandolin Power, Spencer Strickland, Silas Powell, Mr. Luke Little, and Ron Inscore. How about that?